Hello, Hachel. This is the second lesson on inequalities. If you haven't seen the first lesson, go back, watch the first video, and then come back here to do the second lesson. The keywords we are going to use today are very similar to the one on the first lesson: greater than, less than, set notation, and inequalities. Okay, let's begin the lesson. Okay, so you see a question like that, you see an inequality, and then the question tells you n is integer. Integer means a whole number, like 2, 3, 4, 5. What is not an integer is something like 3.5. 3.5 is not an integer. Find all the possible values. So what are the possible values for this inequality? So we know n could be greater than 3 or equal to minus 3. Okay, and then n is less than 4. It can't be 4. It can't be equal to 4. So all the possible values are minus 3 because it can be equal to minus 3. 2, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, but not 4. So we have to list it because the question asks us to find all the possible value for n's. So that's how we write it. N is equal to, that's all the possible values. Remember, 4 can't be there. Okay. Here are two more questions. I'm going to do the first two, and then you can try the next two. So, n is x is greater than minus 2, but it can't be minus 2. So, greater than minus 2 would be minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be equal to 5 because it's got that little line there. So, it's going to be all the way from minus 1 to 5. Minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next one. X is greater than minus 5. So what numbers are greater than minus 5? Minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, and all the way to 2. X has to be less than 2. So what number is less than 2? 1. Remember, x cannot be equal to 2 itself because there is no little line there. So it's going to be minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, and 1. Right, pause the video, have a go on the next two, list all the possible values for the inequalities. Okay. Right, okay, hopefully everybody had the correct answer. X bigger than 0, but x cannot be 0 because there is no little line. So it's 1, 2, but x could be equal to 3. So that's 1, 1, 2, 3. Next one, x could be equal to minus 5. X is greater than or equal to minus 5. So that could be minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, all the way. And x could be equal to 4. So all the way to 4. Well done. Okay. Let's move on to solve inequalities. Remember, I told you in the first lesson, inequalities are very similar to equations like this. And we have done so many of these equations before. The way we solved them was get rid of the friend first. So plus 5, get rid of plus 5. You do minus 5 both sides, and then get rid of 3. So 3 is timesing x, so you do divide by 3 both sides, and then you get x is equal 5. So x is equal to only one number. So in equation, there is only one answer, which in this case is 5. But if that was an inequality like this, we would do exactly the same, like get rid of plus 5, and then divide by 3 both sides. Now, x is less than 5. So x less than 5 could be 4, 3, 2, 1, and all the way. So the only difference between equation and inequality is in equation you have only one answer, but in inequality you have more than one answers. In this question, they ask you to just solve it, so that is enough to get the full mark. If they say give your answers in the index, in the set notation, you leave your answers like this. This is a set notation. So you say sets of x such that x is less than 5. That's a set notation. And you know that if they ask you to give some possible values, you could just write a list like 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1, and all the way. But this one is a set notation, and the other one was just a list. Okay. Here is another one for you to try. Here is the equation, which I'm going to do it for you. Now you do the inequality. Pause the video. Once you finish, write your answer in a set notation. Okay, let's see. So hopefully everybody did exactly the same as equations. So you did minus 3 both sides, and then you divided by 4. And then the set notation would be sets of x such that x is less than 4. Right, okay. Okay, let's have a look on this question. It says solve the following inequality and represent the solution on a number line. Remember the first lesson we learned how to represent the solution on a number line. So let's begin to solve this inequality. The first thing we need to get rid of is minus 8 plus 8. So we have to do minus 8 both sides. So we do minus 8 both sides, and then we get x is less than 3. And then the question asks us to represent it on a number line. So that's how we do it. X is less than 3. And this is the set notation. So the question could ask you to write your answer in a set notation like this, or it could ask you to show it on a number line, or they could ask you to just give a list of the possible answers like the one we did earlier. Right, okay, here are some questions for you to try. The first section, read the question carefully. The first section asks you to write down the integers solution for the following inequalities, so the whole numbers. So for this first section, you have to write all the possible numbers, so it's just a list. For the second part, however, you have to solve the inequalities and give your answer in a set notation. And for the green section, where the inequalities are a little bit harder than the yellow section, you have to represent your solution on a number line and in the set notation as well. Okay, so try those questions. I would say try 4 questions from each section, depending on your choice, whichever you like, but challenge yourself. So if you are in set 1, make sure you do those inequalities towards the end. Definitely, if you are in set 2 or set 3, you can still challenge yourself. But yeah, 4 questions from each section, so altogether 12 questions. Have a good rest of the day.